Hey friends. So for spilling the coffee today, I'm going to be talking about funnels. And this is a subject that I know it scares so many people and people have told me this. So I know it does. But it really doesn't have to, and that's why I was like wanting to talk about it and I am actually really excited to talk about it because I love setting up funnels for people. I love talking about funnels with people and showing you how it can be so much more simple than what you probably know them to be and have heard about them. So there's really a few things. So most people think they are way more complicated than they are, like I said. Also, when you have them set up properly for your business, you can save yourself a shit ton of time because, this is how you create leads and sales systems. That's truly what funnels are. That's the way that I really think about them is creating leads and sales systems for your business. And they can give you so much data, which also will save you time. And we'll get into that. And it allows you to make just so much better decisions around your business and know exactly what you need to do to get better results. And don't let the data part scare you either, because it doesn't need to. None of this needs to be something that's like, oh my God, it's too much. No, we're going to simplify it. So, first, let's talk about the complicated part. They can be sort of. But when you break it down and understand them, it makes so much more sense. It's more so that they can look very complicated. Like if you've seen a funnel laid out and you've seen it mapped out with a whole shit ton of stuff, it can look really complicated. And I mean, I've set up ones like that before for sure. And personally, I love it because that's the way that my brain works. So, I love doing that. And when I go through it with clients, it makes a lot more sense when we actually walk through the steps and get to that point. It does make more sense. But when you're just looking at it, it's like, what the fuck is this? Right? But they don't even have to be 100 steps and a million options and emails and all of these different things. They can be so simple depending on what the intention is. And that's where people get caught up. Instead of starting at the intention, your mind usually goes to all of the steps that you're going to have to put in place and how much work it's going to be to set this thing up and all of these things that you have to do. And it just goes to, oh my God, there's so much. So we're not going to go there. Okay. Very, very simply, a funnel, all that it is just guiding someone where you want them to go in your business. That is literally all it is. It's determining the endpoint and then the steps you need to put in place for someone to be guided there. That's it. That's all it is. And you can add more steps in and rules and things and whatever on the back end. But very simply, a funnel is literally how you get someone from point A to point B. That's it. And it's usually from a lead to a client. That's most commonly, right? So this is super simple. Let's say you want to grow your Facebook group. Okay. You can build a funnel to do that. It's just laying out the steps that are going to take people there. So pieces of your quote unquote funnel in this case would include content where Your CTAs are telling them to join, like where the link is, you talking about it in your stories and posting the link, adding it to your emails, like join my group, here's the link to join. You're funneling people into your group because that endpoint is you wanting them to join the group, right? And so you're just putting the steps in place of how you're going to guide them there. That's a funnel. It's a super simple funnel. And that one would be like more of a lead system kind of thing. Okay. Now, traditionally, most people think of sales funnels, and that's usually a lot of what we set up, a lot of what I set up. I help clients build out so many of these, and I obviously have them for my business. They also don't have to be complicated because, again, it's all about the intention. So, when you're thinking about this for yourself, what is the offer you want people to end up signing up for or buying? That's your endpoint. And that's like almost the last step. The real last step is like onboarding, blah, blah, blah. But whatever. For today, the offer is where we're taking them to, right? That's becoming a client is the last step. That's what you want to happen. Now it's thinking about how are you going to guide them to this offer? Again, laying out the steps. Usually it starts with a freebie of some sort. So you'd have the freebie, emails to deliver the freebie, to sell your offer, the sales page where people can buy whatever it is your offer is or sign up or whatever. The very first step of your funnel, though, is not actually the freebie, it's your content. Because you have to make people aware that this even exists. And this is kind of funny because I've said this before and I've made posts kind of around this idea. I can't, I have a really hard time just setting up funnels for people. It's why I'm shifting a little bit from done for you work and really doing more like done with you essentially, but like strategy and systems coaching because I can't just give people funnels or whatever because you need to get people there. And a big part of what I do with clients is helping you actually create the marketing, create the plan that is going to help you get your leads into the funnels. Because if you're not doing that, you can't just, like, your funnel's not going to work, right? So the very first step is really your content. It's your marketing, how you're making people aware of any of this even existing. But when you have this all laid out and set up and you're guiding your ideal clients into your offers, this is where the time savings comes in too. Because the landing page is set up, the emails are being sent out, people are going to your sales page and they're able to check out. All of that is automated. You aren't doing any of this because from your content, they're able to go to the link, click on the link for your freebie, get the freebie, go through the emails, click on the link for your sales page, look at that, go buy your offer, become a client, right? And so it's really your content that is most of what you're having to do, not all of sending out these links and all of this other shit, emails and all of that. So all of that is done, right? And it saves so much time. And I'm going to talk about in a second launch funnels and evergreen funnels and the difference between the two. And, this will make a bit more sense in terms of also the time savings. But when you have your funnel set up, like your job is to create awareness around the offer that you are wanting to promote existing. And more importantly, in my opinion, talk about your lead magnet so that people opt in for that and then get into the funnel. Because truly, we're at a point, and I talked about this so much on the buyer behavior episode, where people do need value first before they're going to just buy your thing, right? If your funnel was just like, buy my offer, it's not going to work as well as having, a lead magnet where they're getting nurtured, they're learning more about you, they're actually getting to experience what it would be like kind of to work with you, the fact that you actually know what you're doing. They get a bit, some results from that. They can see that it's going to be worthwhile investing with you. Emails on the back end also work to nurture and they work to sell. They go to your sales page and then they're able to make that decision instead of just, here's my thing, buy it, right? So it's all of this kind of working together. Now, with launch funnels and evergreen funnels, probably heard of evergreen, all of that. Going to break this down. So you can have funnels that you can essentially turn on and off for when you're launching an offer. Okay, this is what I would consider a launch funnel. And basically, you use it when you're in a launch for a certain offer, something that you don't always have spots open for, or something that's only open at certain times of the year. You would have like a launch funnel for this. The setup is the same. Like it's basically always essentially more or less the same. Generally, you'll have lead magnet, emails, sales pages, checkout, right? That's the basic setup. There's more to it if when I talk to someone about your business and we really go into things, there's more that we get into for like follow up. There's other automations, and this is where it can sound complicated, but it's not. Creating other automations. If someone clicks the link that they're interested in your offer, goes to the sales page, but maybe doesn't buy, they can be tagged as someone who's interested. Then we can have a follow-up sequence on that or a follow-up system that's in place to follow up with that person. Like there's a lot of different things that can be added in there, but it's still just guiding people along that path that takes them to your offer at the end. And maybe another option, like a downsell if they aren't ready for the launch offer. That's another one that, for depending on the business model, this doesn't always work. Depending on the business model, you can also add that in as an option. If you're not ready for one-on-one coaching, I have a membership that's available. And these launch funnels are not something that you would have running all the time, because if this is an offer, if it's some program or whatever that you don't have spots available for all the time, and you're in a launch for it now, you would have the launch funnel open and running, taking people through, and then once the launch period is done, that basically shuts off, and then you would go into your next one for whatever you're promoting at that time. Now, evergreen funnels are something that you can have running and funneling people into your business all the time. This is where lead systems come in. And this is something that is super important because I've heard this from a number of people where, they don't have something like this set up and they get clients, they get booked out, and then, you know, it comes time to these clients' time has come to an end. So now they're at a period where it's like, oh shit, now I need more clients. And so it kind of starts the process all over again because they don't have anything running in the back and in the background while they are booked out. And so if you have an evergreen funnel, this is something that can be bringing in leads all the time. It's a lead system for you that is just working on the back end. So it's really thinking about this can do a few different things. It's thinking about whether you want it to be a free, like the kind of trigger for it, the freebie that's just bringing in leads so that it can, fill a wait list for something if you are booked out. It can also sell passive offers like self-led courses, downloadable guides, things like that. And those can be sold all the time because it doesn't matter how many, one-on-one clients or whatever you have, those can still be selling all the time. And this evergreen funnel can be set up to continue to bring those people in and sell these things for you. So this one is really thinking about for the freebie, what is something that's relevant for someone at any time, but also relevant to the intention of this funnel. So whether it is bringing in more leads to build your email list, whether it's selling, a passive offer, all of those kind of things. Again, always like think about the intention and what this is going to be doing for you. And then the back end setup, still the same, freebie, emails. And then with this one, if it is just to build your list, you may not have a sales page like that. It would just be building your list. But freebie email sales page is essentially what it is. The only thing that ever really changes is where you are guiding people to based on the intention for the funnel. So if it's for your launch, it's the launch offer. The freebie is related to that offer. The emails are delivering the freebie, they're selling the launch offer, the sales page for whatever offer you are launching, right? So everything is just related to that. And that's basically what it's all based on. And it's just breaking it down much more simply than thinking about it as this like complicated thing with a million steps and a million different things. It's just like, what is your intention? Where do you want people to go? That's it. Now, shifting into one of the other great things about funnels is the data that they give you. And I know, like I said, this is another thing people avoid because it sounds overwhelming. And I am going to do a whole episode on this alone. But data is literally just information that allows you to make more informed decisions about your business. Like, that's it. It's not good or bad. It just is. It's information, it's numbers. It tells like a story of sorts about what's happening, what you can improve, what you need to focus on to get the results that you want. Like that's literally all that it is. It's very helpful information that you can use going forward. And the data that you can get from your funnels will be like from your landing page for the freebie, email open rates and click rates, your sales page. On your sales page, it would be the traffic overall, traffic to the checkout, conversion rate overall, and then abandoned cart rates. all of those points are going to give you information. And from that, you can tweak different things and figure out what you need to do to improve what's going on in the funnel. Now, I'm not going to go too far into it in this episode because I'm going to do the other one on what all of this means, and it would be insanely long if I went into all of that right now. So that will be coming. But when you know what you're looking at and you know how to read your data, you can make better decisions going forward because you're not just like tearing down the entire thing thinking it's all not working. Because oftentimes that's not what's happening. It's just that you need to identify specifically which parts are working better than others and how to actually tweak the ones that aren't working the way that you want them to. So it's knowing also how to read this data and what it actually means so that you know what you need to do in order to make the numbers better. So that episode is going to be coming in 2 weeks. So make sure that you subscribe or you follow the podcast so that you don't miss it. So go hit the thing on whatever platform you're listening, then you won't miss the episode. And if you want to go into data for your business, I would be happy to go over that with you. Like, I love it. The link to book a free recurring revenue strategy call is in the show notes, and we can look at some of that for your business. And I can go over this and actually show you what that means and tell you what that means and give you some pointers on what you can do to improve things and, improve what you're doing. This is like something I love doing with clients. And the data, also setting up funnels that work to bring in leads and sales effectively, like it's just something that I really enjoy. And I've had clients that have fully booked out their one-on-one spots, some that we've set up evergreen funnels. So it's always bringing in leads to build their list and guide people to passive programs and courses. And once you have this set up, it's really just a matter of like tweaking things to improve them when it needs it. You do have to give it some time to actually get numbers to look at. Can't be like, a weekend and oh my God, I need to like fix everything. No, we have to give some time to actually let some numbers roll through. That's hard. I will say that is really hard for a lot of people to give it that time, but you need to do it so that we can accurately read the data that is coming in and then make good decisions based on that. But once you have these funnels set up, it's kind of like one and done, unless you change, the offer. Then yes, you have to set up a new funnel for it. But even if you change like the freebie going into the offer, that's just a few things that need to be changed. It's not the entire thing, right? And this is also something I help clients with in Impact. That's my 6-month hybrid group program. And I do this so that you have funnels set up, essentially leads and sales systems. It's actually what I prefer calling it because that's how I like to think about it, is leads and sales systems, because that's what it does. And that's for all of your offers so that you have consistent income coming in each month. And you're also making it without burning out. I think that that's like so important. It's not how can we launch and make like the biggest income month ever and then what next? No, it's like, how do we set up things so that you have a sustainable business and you're making consistent income, right? That's really what it is focused on. what we go through, strategy for marketing so that you have like all of this down. I love it. I'm obsessed with it. There's 4 spots left in that program. So I'll also leave the link to check that out in the show notes as well. So those 2 things, either book your call, check out Impact, and that is the coffee on funnels. Start with the intention of yours, lay out the steps to where you want people to go, and that's how you're going to simplify the entire process. That's it. I would love it if you would give the podcast a 5-star rating and a review. And as always, go after everything that you fucking want and be unapologetic about it.